All right, it's K4PEW Net Control Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. No, if there's any emergency traffic, just jump in there. Break in any time for that. And you can see right now, you can see the surface of my radio. That's what you can see. Keep getting these interruptions on my stuff here. Um, and you sign into yeah, you can look on the screen on my radio on YouTube. And I just put my call K4PEW into the search bar. You can see that on YouTube. And you can also go to 146.415.net for information on Simplex. You can also go to groups.io and put up MJSS in that one for information on our nets. And you can also sign up the whole net schedule, that is. You can also sign up for our email system if you like, where it's a good place to buy and sell equipment and to get technical questions answered. You can also, well, that's about it. Or you can email me, k4pew@arr.net. The net normally meets at 8 o'clock every Wednesday and Saturday night. And tonight we have the expanded cavalcade of nets. That's where we go here. We're going to be on 2 meters on 146.415.net, 146.415 FM, and then we're going to move over to 144.240 upper sideband, and then on to 50.135 upper sideband on 6 meters, and then on to 223.415 FM. Purpose of that is have fun. Figure out what you can hear, and see if your system and your shack is working, and if everything sounds good. I usually give signal reports that sound funny. I'll be giving them to you sound funny. I think I don't know if that's not the right word, but it's you don't sound normal. I'll tell you about them, or somebody else will. Like I said, you can also hear other people on the air if you can't hear them, because you can hear them on the YouTube feed. Let's see, and just again, if you have issues with hearing or anything, just email me and let me know at k4pew@arr.net. I have a couple of people who have been having some troubles recently with their antennas, and so it's worth putting that out there. Let's see, announcements. We had a great breakfast this morning. There were 7 of us there, and it was a real good time. Other than that, we ate too much as usual, so I'm eating very light the rest of today and probably tomorrow. No, I can't think of any other announcements other than there's another breakfast 2 weeks from now. Any other announcements besides the Sunday night net at 7:30? It's tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. on 28.415, 28.415 upper sideband, and Michael does that KM4YRF, and he moves over to 29.415 FM on 10 meters, and then he moves over to 223.415. We actually have essentially 3 223 nets a week, and we also have 2 10-meter nets a week, and then of course you got a 2-meter and sometimes 70 centimeter and 2-meter upper sideband, etc. Any other announcements? All right, very good. Then I shall move on to, we're on net number 994. We're starting from the south, and but first we'll start taking check-ins from people short on time, mobile, or first-time check-ins. First-time check-ins, mobile, or people short on time. Yeah. Apparently, some people haven't checked into the net yet. All right. Well, very good. We'll start taking check-ins from the south, and please come now. Is this thing on?
Yep, you're on.
We have any check-ins from the south? Of course, south is kind of weak. Anybody from the south? Very good. A little rough copy, but I got you in there, Larry. Anything else for the net? Very good. Kilo Echo 4, Sierra Yankee Victor, Larry in Rockville. Who else is south? South or east?
KM4YRF.
Yeah, I didn't forget your net until I went.
I know, I was ready. Had my finger on the PTT.
Yeah, very good. Now you only got one. I guess you could operate the other hand with the push to tuck and the one in the sling.
Well, I'm out of the sling right now, and I'm using my left hand to push the PTT button.
Oh, awesome. Well, very good. That was Michael here in Mount Juliet. You don't have anything else for the net, do you?
Yeah, had a great time at the breakfast, though.
Yeah, it was good to see you, Rick. Anyway, Michael, KM4YRF here in Mount Juliet. Who else is east?
KE4DEZ.
Mr. Earl, you doing all right?
Yeah, a little bit better than what I was this time a few days ago. Had to overcome and adapt from that there 3.5 day activity of burning out that stuff. And I got reflecting on that there world view thing, and I'm thinking I might need to apologize for my quick answer. Didn't mean to get too overboard with it. Sometimes I think faster than what, or speak faster than what I think my filters get broke.
Nah, you did fine. I don't remember having anything you had to apologize for.
Well, okay. Well, story of my life then. I guess I just wasted that airtime to make myself feel good. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, no problem. Oh, you can apologize for other stuff too that you didn't do.
Okay. Yeah, I just tinker around all these buttons and knobs on this here radio, trying to see if there's something I forgot how to do without pulling out the book. So I just started pushing buttons and trying to help my receiver a little bit. Anyway, I'll let it go at that, Paul. Catch y'all later. Have a good rest of the weekend. Taking for the DEZ Earl on the backside of Cedar Rapids State Park, 7-3.
Very good. That's Earl, Kilo Echo 4 Delta Echo Zulu. He's over in Orine, just on the east side of the Cedars of Lebanon Park. And a decent audio. I mean, it's pretty noisy to me, but a full copy on there, Earl. Who else is east?
Kilo India 4, Zulu Delta Cop.
Hello, Kevin. What's up with you?
Not a whole lot. Me and my son are on our way home. We've been out shooting a little ski, eating a little dinner with some friends.
Ah, where do you shoot ski?
It's over off Beckwith Road, kind of up towards 70. There's North Country. Friends land up there.
What kind of ammo do you normally use for ski?
We just use some target loads, stuff, quail stuff.
Okay, cool. You ever use any split shot stuff?
Oh no, I haven't shot speed in years. It's kind of an impromptu thing, and just grabbed what I had in the closet and grabbed the shotgun out of the safe and headed over.
Cool. Well, very good. Anything else for the net? That sounds like a good day, though, shooting for a while.
Oh yeah, it was a good day. Good, nice warm. We got a little bit of yard work done and all that, but nothing else for the net.
Well, very good. That was Kevin, Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Golf, and he's in kind of the Gladeville area, east of me. Who else is east? Looking for the other Kevin in Middle Lebanon. I can't believe he's not in. I reminded him too at 5 minutes before 7. Who else is east? Please come down. All right, up to the north.
84 Dylan.
Hello, Danny. You remember it again, man. You must be on that Prevagen.
Yep, just sitting here waiting. Had a pretty good day. Changed oil in my truck, the wife's car, and mowed on the yard.
Yeah, did you ever notice you get the feeling? I remember as a kid when I was changing the oil in my car, I always felt the car ran better after I changed the oil, which obviously isn't true.
Oh yeah, it probably does.
It may, I don't know. I was back in those days. I'd probably change it as often as I had money, which wasn't all the time.
Right. Well, you can't do that nowadays. You change these every 5,000 miles. They're that 0-20 oil, like water.
Yeah, it's well. Plus, a lot of the cars, especially the 4 cylinders, have a much higher RPM, so it's a little more critical, I think.
Right.
Anyway, anything else for the net?
Just sitting here eating supper.
All right, sounds good. Don't let us interrupt your digestion. That was Danny, Kilo Delta 4 Golf, Oscar November. He is in near Cottontown. Who else is north?
WD0 and OL.
Did you survive the day, did you, after that big breakfast?
I did. Enjoyed the breakfast. Came home. got to work and worked about an hour.
Before you conked out?
Exactly. I had to come in and take a nap.
Yeah, my brother wrote me. He wrote me on a text today. I didn't see it until a couple hours ago, but he wrote it at like 2:45 or something like that. He goes, I fell down the stairs last night in the middle of the night, and he left it at that. I'm like, you fell down the stairs, and I know where he lives. You know, he fell down a whole flight of stairs with no carpet. You know, I'm like, and what happened? He finally decided, oh yeah, that's right. I got bruises and nothing else. I'm like, what a way to tell me.
Yeah. Well, that happened. That's not good. But if he's talking to you, that's a good sign.
Yeah, he said he hurt his feelings more than anything. Anyway, anything good for the net?
No, don't really have a thing. Look forward to the next practice.
You know, you reminded me this morning. What we ought to have is like we have these different frequency nets, different bands. We ought to have just a discone only net for the 2 meters 70 centimeters.
Yeah, well, I'm not on the disco now.
Oh, I know that. Well, of course, I wouldn't be able to. I'd be able to hear you anyway. But no, I know that. I'm just saying that would be the true test of how high up the antenna is, because you wouldn't get it. We wouldn't have very many chickens.
Yeah, and then you could follow that with a J-pole net.
Yeah, well, don't remind me. I've had a couple of J-poles myself. I have to. It's like just like a what? It's like J-pole anonymous.
Yeah. All right. Enough of this foolishness. Carry on. I'll be listening. WB0 and hello.
You noticed I got the rotation right so far: south, west, or southeast, and then north. You know, I'm right on the mic today.
You did great, Paul.
Very good. That was Mark in Northwest Wilson, Whiskey Bravo 0. November Oscar. Who else is north? Anybody else north on this beautiful day?
84 VUW. Carlin up there, Angel Bell.
Hello, Carlin. Everything good up in the north sector?
Yeah, it's still here.
Well, I'm hoping it is if you're still talking.
Yeah. I don't know if it's broke off and I'm just floating out here in space and I ain't stepped out the back door and floated away yet or not, so I don't know. Anyway, enjoyed the day. Nice and warm out there. Went and had a hamburger and then come back and went out there and picked up some limbs out of the tree, out of the yard, out of the tree. At least one of them limbs was about half the size of the tree. Anyway, I got all that nest picked up, piled on the brush pile back here in the back. Thought, well, I looked at the grass and I thought, the grass still ain't look like it's growing all that much out here. And everybody's done mowed theirs at least 4 times this year already. And looks like a couple of spots there in the backyard that kind of growed a little bit. But, I was like, golly, I got about 2 acres I got to mow. So I'm like, yeah, not really all that bad. I think I might give it a try Monday or Tuesday. I know the rain's moving in Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. I don't know when it is. I have to look through the weather, but I'll get up there, I guess, and give it its first whack, and it might get it growing. I wonder, I thought, maybe that's why I ain't done that yet. I ain't cut it, and got that old bed that cut grass down there fertilized and everything else is getting it going or not. So, anyway, hope everybody's having a good time over there, and I guess I ain't got nothing else to say. I'll turn it back over to you that way you can get some more check-ins. So anyway, Kenny 4VW, turn it back over to the next control.
Yep, very good. That was Carlin with a yard report. Yeah, if you fertilize a lot, it increases your workload real fast. That was Kilo Delta 4 Victor, Uniform Whiskey, Carlin in Bethpage, Angeltown area. Who else is north?
Kilo 4 Bravo Whiskey Alpha.
Hello, Ricky. What's up?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out. I figured I'd give you a check-in. I hadn't checked in a few weeks, so I didn't want to neglect you too long.
Oh, that's all right. I get busy on just with the 2 nets I do a week. Well, actually, 2 involved in these nets 3 days a week. no, it's a Wednesday. So yeah, it's only 3 days a week, but it's enough. And so sometimes I'm not even around the radio in the evening and on nights that I'm not on the net. So I missed yours on Thursday, primarily because my wife is also off that day. So I tend to stay off the radio on Thursday night.
Completely understandable. Yeah, since Carlin already got the yard work started, that's what I did today. I got some flowers planted, and I already got my garden in at the beginning of this week, so it's all set and ready to go, and hopefully we don't get a hard frost, but I don't think we will.
No, what kind of flowers you plant?
Well, like I put in some marigolds because those things are good about keeping mosquitoes and bugs and different things away, and then a couple of I think petunias or whatever, just for looks. I do hummingbirds, and I figured the more flowers I had in the yard would probably attract them a whole lot more, and they would hit my feeders a lot better.
You put out the sugar?
I do. In fact, I already got my first hummingbird on the 9th. Showed up about 6:45 that evening, and I had just put in new nectar in the feeders, and he came by, and I was like, my goodness, I did get the early bird.
Did you do you normally buy the product in one of those liter containers, wherever it is? Do you make your own?
Oh man, I have to make my own. That stuff's too expensive. Uh, it's just 1 cup of sugar to 4 cups of good distilled or good boiled water. It's real easy to make, and I could probably make it for one fourth the cost of what they sell that other stuff for.
Oh, I just wondered because I've seen it sold, and I had purchased it one time, and then I realized the same thing. Why am I buying it? I can make it.
Yeah, Roger that. And yeah, it's expensive if you buy it, and they don't care. I've read on it, and they don't care if it's red or. In fact, they say the dye isn't good for them. So they say that it's better to make your own and go with than that stuff that they sell.
Yeah, they get their natural colors from the flowers anyway.
That's right. But anyway, I'll just give you a quick rundown. I got 6 rolls of sweet early corn, some eggplant, tomatoes, bell peppers, Roman lettuce, Brussels sprouts, let's see, squash, yellow squash, zucchini, cucumbers, and watermelon. And I went ahead and planted a bunch of sunflower seeds. I may make my own sunflower seeds this year. Put them in the oven, salt them down real good, and see how they turn out. We used to do that when I was a kid. My mom would grow some, and we'd make our own sunflowers. So I thought I'd go back in time a little bit this year.
Well, you must. How much property do you have? Under acreage there, because that sounds like a lot. How much corn did you say you had?
I got 6 rows. Of course, you have to understand the rows are probably only 10 foot. 10 foot. So if you stretch them out maybe 20 foot, I could have got maybe 3.
Oh, very good. But it's still a lot of corn.
Oh yeah, this sweet corn. It's called early sweet corn. I haven't planted it yet, but they say you get anywhere from 5 to 7 ears per stalk.
Wow, that is a lot. Yeah, when I was a kid and working on my uncle's farm, we'd play hide and seek in the cornfields. And with acres of it.
Yeah, Roger that. I really put the garden in mostly this year is to have something to work to get me off the couch, and I enjoy watching it grow. I've already started my rehabilitation. Got on the treadmill. I've been doing as much as I can to try to build my strength back up. Those 2 surgeries this early part of this year and late part of last year, 2 in a row, really made my muscle mass just I just got so weak, and I've only been doing it about maybe 2 weeks now, and I can already tell a difference. Man, I can get outside and do more, and I feel a lot better. So I'm expecting good results.
Excellent. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I've been through that drill many times in the last, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell you how long. I've been working working out off and on since early 90s. And because I got up to 300 pounds and I was so out of shape, I could barely get out of my own way, you know. And I did the same thing though, is if you're not doing anything, after a while you go, oh man. And then when you start over again, after, let's say you take a month off, and it's like you're starting half over again.
Right, right. Well, you know, the surgery and around last year, around the end of July, was a middle of the back surgery. So I had restrictions for a good long time with that, and then turn around in February and had to have hernia surgery, and then you have restrictions on that where you have, you know, so you might say for almost a year now I was basically couldn't hardly do anything. And I want to tell you something, it got to where I couldn't even, if I was sitting on the couch, I couldn't even get up. I didn't have hardly any strength to get in and out of a car. So, but that's all changing now.
Well, it really is important as you age, not you, but people in general, that you be fit. And I don't mean you have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger fit. You just have to be fit. You have to develop the muscles in all parts of your body, which includes walking and maybe some light weights and calisthenics or whatever it is. Because the fact is, if you don't work out, you generally gain weight. If you gain weight, you can't work out, or you won't. You gain too much weight. It's hard to get around when you get into your old age, and that's a real problem for a lot of people if they aren't ready for getting into their 70s and 80s.
Right, right. That's right. And hope I inspired other people to do the same because I tell you what, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's so true. And I was pretty active until I started going to last year and had the back issue and we then took the fall. I actually fell in my garage. I think I told you all about that. Hit my head and I guess I done something on my back. But that happened, maybe in June or so. And I tell you what, it's just if you don't, like I said, if you don't use your muscles, man, you'll lose them. And as you get older, you can lose them a whole lot faster than you can when you're young. But anyway, enough about me. And just want to say God bless everybody out there listening in. This is K4 BWA. I'm going to turn it back over to you and see if we get some more folks in here.
Very good. That was Ricky up in the Portland area. Kilo 4 Bravo Whiskey Alpha, and he does the net on Thursday nights, a Simplex net on at 7 o'clock on 147.555. 147.555. Write it down. Be there on Thursday nights, 7 o'clock. Who else is north or west?
KO4 OTV.
Hey, sounds good. Who are you copying, Joel, on let's see, D-Star? Anybody?
I could copy you and Jack, and apparently, I guess Jack couldn't hear either.
No, the propagation was messed up last night for us. I got through, but sometimes I don't get through to Larry down in Rockville.
Well, that makes me feel really good because I thought I was just out of reach, but I think Rockville's like, I don't know, an hour and a half from me.
Oh, yeah, it takes the signals that long to get there. He'll get them later this evening.
Yeah, I looked it up one night, I don't know, a couple months back, and I said, well, no wonder I can't hear him. Even if I had a beam, probably, but I'd have to get it pretty high up. That's a pretty good stretch from me.
Yeah, but you're pretty high up anyway, right?
I am, but I don't know what his elevation is.
I don't think Rockville is very high. I'd have to look, but I don't think it's all that high. It might be. We'll have to look. Anyway, anything else for the net? You doing any good?
No, I'm just kind of enjoying it there. I've just been pressure washing my building and doing some stuff around the house mainly all day, just trying to enjoy this weather.
Hey, by the way, I have to mention the net, and you not you necessarily, but my wife said she's making fun of the nets, and she says, "I hear you guys." She goes, "I can." She's sitting in the other room right now. She says, "I hear you guys." She goes, "Yeah, how's my signal?" "Oh, it's okay." "How's my signal?" "How's your signal?" She goes, "I've listened to it. It's brutal," she says.
Yeah, I can relate, man. My wife can't stand it either. But, it is what it is. I guess you got to have your hobby, but it's weird because you're sitting there talking about signals, and I'm like, man, it seems like every week, just on 2 meter, it seems like it's getting weaker and weaker between us because I don't know if it is building more stuff and it's knocking the signal. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like it just gets more. You know, in DMR, I can hear you just fine. What antenna do you use?
The same one, the X700.
That's what I thought. I just thought, man, it's got to be the craziest thing because I can copy more people on DMR lately than I can 2 meters.
Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's we've gained, what, 6 million immigrants across that border. That's the problem. They're sucking up all this thing.
That's it. They're breathing it all in.
That's right. They're taking what's ours.
Well, I mean, they might as well. I mean, they're getting everything else for free.
I don't know what they get for free. I just can't believe how 6 million people, man, and they're undocumented migrants. And I go like, what? How does that? How do they? They document as they come in.
And I even heard 9 million a day, but I've heard others. I think it's higher than that. I think it's closer to 20, just because it's been happening for so long now, and it's so many. You know, every time I see the footage of the border, it's just an insane amount of people that are getting in here. And I mean, even out here where I'm at, I mean, I'm starting to notice it.
Yeah, when I lived in Tampa, there was a lot of Spanish speakers there. Most of them were Puerto Ricans or Cubans. We did have some Brazilians there. It was a big deal because there was a lot of those there to begin with. Since the later part of the 1800s, Tampa was a big part of Cuba's economy because it was the port city. Miami wasn't even involved. Miami was nothing in the 1800s compared to Tampa. Tampa had the industry, the cigar factories, and so there was a crap load of traffic. So that was a natural thing. But then I realized how much the immigration had changed in Florida when I was in Clearwater, and I see this apparently, I say she was Mexican, but she might have been somewhere else. And so walking down the street, pushing a baby stroller down Clearwater, Florida, which is one of the whitest cities in America, or used to be anyway.
Yeah, and I don't really. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it, and obviously they don't. It's all on purpose. And I even read a thing earlier where they're already starting to let them vote, you know, with no ID and all that so forth. But I don't know. I heard early voting was starting in D.C. and they were just letting whoever vote.
Pretty soon they'll let them on juries and be judges.
Oh yeah, I should put Fannie Willis on the case.
Yeah. No, you're right. It gets kind of goofy because I think in one city they just said they'd let them vote in city elections. And I'm pretty sure that was in New York City. And I'm pretty sure the state Supreme Court said, no, you won't.
I'll be honest. I don't know what's going to happen this year. I've had a bad feeling for the last couple of years. When I got to this year, it started getting really like a gut twist in my stomach there. And I'm just like, I don't know what's fixing to happen, but it doesn't feel good.
Well, whichever, for anybody listening, for anybody who's depends on which side of the fence or any fence that you're on politically, I was watching. My wife turned it on because she was whipping through the channels, and there was a YouTube feed or YouTube from PBS, my favorite, most unfavorite channel really. But they have it's called Nazi Town, Nazi City. It's Nazi Town, I think is what it's called. And like what? And it was a documentary about an hour long about how Nazism was fairly prevalent in this country from about the early 30s up through 39, until 41 actually. When Japan invaded and then Germany declared war on us. But anyway, what's interesting, it was a lot, and what they were highlighting is they were really saying about how nationalism, not just if they were making the inference, at least if you paid any attention to it, about nationalist socialism, nationalist and populist and voting and all that stuff. And he even pointed out how these groups were using the phrase "Make America Great." And I thought, why did you publish this now? Why did you do that? And they actually misrepresented some things in ways that were just a little bit sleazy. And so I couldn't help but think PBS is really an anti-conservative station.
100%. I'm glad you noticed that too. I was watching it, oh God, a couple of years ago. I turned it on again. I don't know, hell, 2 weeks ago. I couldn't believe the nonsense that was on there. It was not fun to sit there and listen to it. I couldn't believe that their communist views have
actually, so you didn't see it. I want you to go and look. You obviously didn't see that. There was a published article by an NPR, National Public Radio, writer, reporter. He's been there 25 years, and he's still with them at the moment. I'm pretty sure he's going to get fired this week. But he published an article that said how NPR, over the last, I'll just say 10 or 12 years, whatever he said. It's an interesting article. He points out how it all drifted to the left to malign Trump and malign conservatives and everything that they did. And he was trying to point it out to them. That's not a very good idea. We're not being fair. They didn't care. And they also pointed out that, what was the other thing about the, oh, shoot. The other thing was, about, he said that he noticed, he did a quick review of the people in the newsroom in Washington, D.C., where he worked, which was one of the bigger newsrooms for NPR. Maybe it's the headquarters, I don't know. And he said that everybody there was a registered Democrat. There was no Republicans at all. And he goes, this isn't much of a collection of a fair, station if everybody's got the same view.
Exactly. And I mean, they had to fit right in with all the rest of the networks. If you look at all the networks out there are owned by the same people. I mean, even Fox now is, I can't watch any of them anymore. I've gotten to the point where I have to stay away from news, period, because it's just, nothing is even close to fair. It feels like a Twilight Zone, and it does nothing but piss me off daily.
Well, again, they're going to be, ultimately, they're losing face because the trust in media is down among everybody because nobody trusts them. It's silly because they're supposed to be objective. I don't care whether they're talking about Democrats, Republicans, communists, or whatever. They're supposed to be objective in their reporting and leave the opinion to the opinion times, not to the news. But they stick their stinking ideas in everything they do, and it gets really old. I've listened to it in the past, and I just happened to see that article. I already knew they were leftists, but I just said, holy crap, you're publishing this. Here we are, 6 months before the election? They're publishing this so-called documentary on Nazism, and seemingly comparing it to Trump's campaign.
That's the thing that drives me crazy because it's nothing like that. And then there's a lot of people, they know this is all a bunch of BS anyway, but at the same time, at this point, as much as they have done it, if you haven't opened your eyes yet, and I get it, if you don't like the guy, I can see why people don't like it, but at the same time, I don't get caught up with my feelings. When it comes to I'm both of the better guy here. I want to, I mean, Trump was already in. Things were great when he was here, and I'd give him another shot in a minute. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and buy into any of this. But the problem is millions of people that watch The View and MSNBC, CNN all buy into this because it fits their narrative because their hate is so strong for one person. It's unbelievable, really. But I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that it's all conspiracy. I mean, it's 100%. It's all made up nonsense, and I really don't care what anybody thinks about it. Honestly, it doesn't affect me either way. I just don't believe if this keeps on going, we're not going to have a country left.
Well, just to finish this off, the one thing he noticed in the article, I advise everybody go read it because it's an interesting article. He noticed that, and forgive me on statistics, but let's say 20 years ago, maybe 30, I forget what he said, but it was not 2 years ago. Their market audience, which was supposedly everybody with a fair assessment of everybody, and they had something like, I'm going to say it was like, so let's say it was 30% conservatives, 30 or 40%, between the middle of the road, liberals / conservatives, and then 20 or 30% leftists, whatever the numbers, I say leftists, really big time liberal source. I forget how he described it. But now, on the most recent review of their audience, which they've lost a lot of audience, they're way down in viewership and listeners. It's now down to like 10% conservatives and a vast majority of people on the left. And so that anyway, they lost their audience and they lost advertising and they laid off people, and they ought to learn their lesson. They're playing to one crowd, and that's not a good idea. Anyway, let me run. You got anything else there, or we beat this to death, Joe?
Go right ahead, my friend. I'll see y'all over on 6 there, KO4 OTV.
Very good. That's Joel over on west of Ashland City. Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Tango Victor. Who else west?
KO4 MKD.
Hello, Doug. Sorry we were bending people's ears there.
Yeah, I'm in KG 4 ILD jack to Donaldson. Good JPO, if there is such a thing, is still better than a potato stuck on a barbed wire fence.
Oh no, J-poles. Listen, if you got the elevation and you're talking to who you want to talk to, J-pole works fine.
Yeah, we have a new ham that, in fact, he took his test last week, and he was talking to him earlier. He's been trying to pick you up. He's up in Orlinda, and he's got a J-pole up just above his roof line, and he's got a Balfang HT. But I've been chatting with him on the cell phone, and he couldn't hear you at all. So we're gonna have to work on his antenna.
Yeah, being there is going to be a little rough for him. He needs to be. And I don't know if the Balfang is sensitive enough. You know, I don't know if it. I don't really know the. Maybe if it's up high enough, he'll be able to hear it, sure. But I don't think a J-pole is going to do it.
Yeah, we got to get him a better antenna. But hey, he's just getting started. You know, everybody starts off with something, and then you graduate from there.
Well, for what it's worth, where he is, which is kind of in the outlying areas to where the majority of the hams are, which is middle, you know, down here, I think down here in the greater Nashville area. And if I was up there, I'd probably have a beam, and you can get a pretty decent 5-element beam. MFJ sells one. I think the price now might be $79. I think I'd try that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. In fact, I need to get one of those myself. But anyway, I just want to check in tonight. Don't really have anything for the net. Just been listening and laughing along. Espero que tenga un buen día.
Yeah, I I don't remember what that is in Spanish. You mentioned that 5-element beam, or I did. It's now been transferred. It's a transgender beam. I have to admit this. It's a transgender beam. It was used. I did use it for the net for a while, about 9 years ago. It sucked because I had to keep moving the beam, and of course I couldn't hear anything on the back of the beam, etc. But I decided after we went and killed cable for our cable TV, and I went over the air. I turned that vertical beam into a horizontal beam and hooked it up to the TV. It's a fantastic receiver.
That's cool. Yeah, I've got internet TV, but I also have an over-the-air antenna. You know, and it works really good. I get lots of channels.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Is that 2-meter beam for reception and digital? I use it for everything because it's the digital, and it goes into it. I even happen to go through a digital to analog box because my TV is only about 900 years old, so it's an old Hitachi. I say old, it's probably 20-something years old. Hitachi rear projection screen. It still works, so kind of okay. No, it's not too bad. And so I got a real hot mishmash of junky stuff feeding that thing.
Now I've got an old CRT TV that's got a DVD player and a VCR player built into it. I inherited this through my work. One of my colleagues had it. He was using it for presentations in a training class, and we upgraded and got projectors and projector screens. But they gave me that thing, and they don't want it back. I don't know what to do with it. I hate to throw it away. It works.
Doesn't have one of those big floppy drives.
And no, but it takes DVDs or VCR tapes.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, the VCR was such a bad format, man.
Yeah, and I have so many of them.
Yeah, we have. My wife has got about, I want to say she's got 50 or 60 of them she's had from her life, going back into the 80s. And she said, I got to go through those someday. I said, good luck.
Yeah, you know what they're good for? A good place to hide something valuable because nobody's going to steal them.
Yeah, that's true. You can put all your money inside those boxes. Anything else for the net, Doug?
No, that's it. 735. Hope everyone has a good evening.
Yeah, that was Doug up in Greenbrier. Kilo Oscar for Mike Kilo Delta. Did I get it right again?
Dead on the money. You're getting better.
Yeah, well, I'm still hesitant. Great. I got you in there, Jack. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you a minute ago.
Yeah, no problem. I couldn't hear Doug.
Oh, really? That's funny. He's big money into me. He's got a big signal. I can't believe you couldn't hear him.
There must be something in the way.
Yeah, it's those immigrants, man.
They're sucking up all the RF.
Oh yeah, man. They got cheap J poles up there pulling it all down.
Yeah, it must be what it is.
Yeah, anyway. I can just hear somebody's ears are burning somewhere.
Well, it was good to see everybody at the breakfast this morning that was there. We missed you, Tony. Show up next time. And anyway, glad your shoulder's getting better, Michael.
Thanks, Jack.
All right, we're going to do the health net later. That was Jack, a Kilo Golf for India, Lima Victor. He's in Donaldson. Who else is West?
Kilo Del Support, Charlie Victor Echo.
Hello, Greg. It was good not to see you today.
Yeah, I didn't hear of Doug either. I don't have a J pole, but I have been working my way up the alphabet. I currently have a P pole going. That P pole, it's not doing so good. So I guess next week's going to be a Q pole.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I still have it out in the garage. My super J pole. It's 96 inches tall. It's a 70 centimeter, 2 meter J pole.
Copper tubing?
Copper tubing, yes, sir, bud.
Yeah, back in '92 when there was that big rush on the tech licenses, there was a blind guy who made them left and right, and everybody except me had a J pole.
Now, all antennas are good for what they're good for. And that doesn't matter whether it's a quarter wave or a 5/8 wave or stacked 5/8 waves vertical, or, but in a J pole is good. It works darn good. It's reasonably good for almost every, every repeater in the area.
Exactly, and that's all we were doing was talking on the 3191, which is a behemoth. I think I told you, I think I was able to get in the repeater using 19.5 inches of connectors once.
One of the guys told me, he says, before the Simplex net got going at all, he wasn't doing any Simplex at all. Lots of people weren't. And he said, before the Simplex net, he goes, I used to pride myself on being able to kerchunk certain repeaters that were far away. And I go, yeah. And then you realized that it wasn't you. It was the repeaters are 500 feet up in the air. It's no thrill to hit a repeater, even if it's 40 miles away. He says, yeah, that's right. He goes, all of a sudden I realized that's not a mark of anything,
Yeah, well, I won't hold any part. This is, I'm reporting from Echo Mary 66 Papa Bravo. Call me Biscuit.
That's your tactical call is Biscuit?
Call me Biscuit.
All right, very good. That's Biscuit, Kilo Delta 4, Charlie, Victor Echo. He might even be on a J pole, but I don't think so. Who else? That was Greg, by the way. Who else? Greg Biscuit. And in fact, he's going to go over till they get a C antenna, the letter C, and then he'll be C Biscuit. Who else is West?
KC4TNQ.
Hello, Charles. You were not being heard on one of those. Which net was that on earlier tonight?
Could not hear Michael on the C4 film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's you haven't had that problem before, have you?
Yeah, is he still using a mobile engine?
No, I'm pretty sure he's using that X700 on for all of the 2 meter nets.
It's ground mounted, right?
No, it's up in here. How high up is Michael? How high is your X700?
It's on a 20-foot pole.
There you go. There's a Polish guy holding it up 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, I got mine. Mine's about 32 feet at the ground plane, so it's about as high as I can get. I am thinking about maybe putting another 10 feet on it just to see, but that'd be more coax and all that good stuff.
Yeah, or more connectors.
Yeah, I don't know about connectors. Man. They say they give impedance bump.
Yeah, they sure do. They do. I found that to be true. Anything good for the net, Charles?
No, that's it. Just had to run some errands this morning and did some yard work this afternoon. So now my knees is hurting and I'm done.
Yeah, very good. Well, it's not very good. Your knees are hurting. I know that feeling. My knees hurt and my hips hurt and other than that, I'm fine. Anyway, that was Charles. Kilo Charlie for Tango, November, Quebec. Who else? Anybody else, West? Nobody else west. How about any place, anywhere? Please come down.
Whiskey 8, Papa, Lima Alpha, Philip at Tucker's Crossroads.
Hello, Philip. How are you doing?
Oh, it's all doing pretty good. Haven't been back very long. I went out to Cedars and Lipton today and made 114 contacts doing a coda activation.
Oh, wow. Well, that's not the first time Cedars has been activated, was it?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Are there any virgin parks left?
there are, probably up in Alaska and other places like that.
Yeah, up in the North Canadian Rockies.
Sure, absolutely.
No, that's pretty cool. How many contacts did you get? 100 and what?
Made 114. That's a new record for me.
Wow, that's a lot. How long were you out there?
Oh, I think about 3 hours or so.
It's not too bad for 3 hours worth of messing. It was all on what frequency and what band were you on?
Oh, I was all over the place, but probably 20, 40, and then I made a few that were on 10 and 15.
Cool. That's really moving it around. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just turned my laptop on and uploaded my logs and looked in Facebook, saw the net was going, and I was like, well, it's not over. I can go check in real quick.
Oh, yeah, it's not, you know what they say, man, it's not over till it's over.
That's right. Well, I hope you all had a good breakfast this morning, and hopefully I'll make you do one of those again soon.
Okay, I'll come by and pick you up.
Oh, well, you'd be backtracking, but man, that's a heck of an offer.
Or I get Richard to come over and pick you up.
Well, now he might just do that.
I think he might if he was coming over. I haven't seen him in a couple of months.
Yeah, you know that guy, he's dropped completely off my ham radio, and he's got more HPs than I think the store has. And I don't know why he don't know how to use an HP with all those that he has.
I don't think he does either. He's an HT hoarder, man. It's a whole different category.
Who knows? He may be listening. But yeah, you say food. Usually Richard comes running. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, very good, Philip. Anything else?
Well, that's it. Hope everybody's doing well. 7-3, W8PLA.
Yeah, very good. That's Philip. Whiskey 8, Papa Lima Alpha. He's in Tucker's Crossroads. To anybody else, any place, anywhere? Hold on one second. I got a couple of guys in there. We got Kilo Mike for Hotel Quebec Echo. How you doing there, Stan?
Doing well, Paul. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, they ought to start a new category. You could jump on the first opportunity of doing circle. What do you call it? What do they call those? Like where the circle is there in down the road from your piece there in the middle of Lebanon. Circle. What do they call those things? The circle is on the air.
You talking about the town square?
Yeah, right there on the square there, and it's not really a square; it's a circle.
Roundabout.
Yeah, the roundabout's on the air. That's what they ought to have a new one.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
You doing okay though?
Yeah, I've been enjoying the day. It was really nice outside, so I got out and did a few projects.
Oh, it's beautiful. Hey, I didn't tell everybody whoever anybody's still in the air. We were sitting yesterday afternoon, and we have a back door that goes right out to the patio, and right outside the back door, of course, is a storm door with a glass. The upper section is glass. And the next thing I hear is, just sitting there watching television, and bam, something hits that back window as if somebody took it, really, like somebody threw a hard ball or a softball right at that door. I didn't know what happened. I didn't hear any glass break or anything, but it hit that glass. And I went over and opened up the door, and here was a couple of pieces of something, and it was tiny feathers. And dang, I looked down on the patio, and here's a hawk who was standing there dazed down on the concrete, still with a bird, and I think it was a dove, in his claws. And he hit that glass at full force, attacking that dove. And he landed on the pavement, and then he flew off about 10 seconds later. I mean, I never saw anything like it before in my life.
Well, it reminds me of one time me and my friend of mine were going to a gun store up there. So we were going down the road, and all of a sudden we heard some noise, and I happened to look back in the rearview mirror, and there was one of those little yellow birds that had flown in the window and landed on the top part of the back seat of the car.
For a free ride?
I guess so.
So did he fly back out?
No, we had to open up the door and let him, kind of herd him out of the car and get him out.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's interesting. Anything else for the net stand?
No, that's all, Paul. Back to net. KMR HTV.
Very good. That was Stan, Kilo Mike for Hotel Quebec Echo. Anybody else? Any place? Anywhere? Who was that? I hear David in there.
Yes, sir. KI4ND, and good afternoon or good evening, Mr. Paul.
Very good, David. You doing okay?
Yes, sir. Doing very well. I've been enjoying this
probably one of the most beautiful days of the year. I couldn't ask for anything better today, that's for sure. Got a little mowing done, and get ready for that honeybee swarm season. It's upon us, and if any swarms land on your antenna or anything, don't freak out. Just kind of watch them and let them do their thing. It won't be there long, but enjoy everything you do, Mr. Ball, and I appreciate it. I heard you talking about that J-pole antenna. I made contact with the International Space Station on a homebrew J-pole on VHF one time years ago. So they're not a bad antennas. They work when they work. They're like Ricky's night. His propagation was just on board here. I could hear him good. One of the very few times that I can ever hear Ricky up in Portland. And I appreciate Michael relaying me and every week or so up there at his net.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's good to go from Portland down to you. That's a great signal.
Yeah, I can barely hear him. A lot of picket fencing, but I know he's there. But I can't hear him. I did tune into that Facebook Live thing, and that kind of helped out some too, knowing who else was there and kind of trying to squeeze in there. But thanks for everything you do, Paul. And a little late, but better late than never.
Hi, how you doing? Fine. That was David. He's in Radioville, Kilo India 4, November, Delta, November. Anybody else?
N8 NHT.
HG4 MIZ.
Hey, hold on, Kevin. We got Hayes in there for November 8, November Hotel Tango. How you doing?
Oh, not doing too bad. I went to the scout camp in Pine Ridge Scout Camp in Southern Illinois and saw the totality of stuff. I was camping there for a few days with the kids. That was pretty cool. And other than that, I was just planting some trees and some fruit trees, pawpaw trees in my front yard. Remember that song, Way On Down during the pawpaw patch?
Yeah. So why the fruit trees in the front yard?
I had to get a silver maple removed. It was really tearing up everything, and then I figured, it's why not when you replant stuff, why not have stuff that actually serves as something to eat?
Well, all trees serve a certain purpose. I mean, they add a certain beauty. I mean, I counted them the other day. I didn't know how many I had because not that I'd spent much time with it. I just guessed at it. But I have 12 trees on my property.
Yeah, I've got a couple silver maples in the back that are holding up my end-fed antenna for 80 meters and 80 meters and up. But I took a bow and arrow and shot it up there, so those trees are definitely serving a purpose as a mast, Roger.
Oh, wow, great. What you got a very almost overdriven or loud signal to me. Are you doing something differently?
No, maybe I'll back off a little bit. I'm on the HTX 202, Roger.
Oh, okay. Well, no, it sounds loud. Not that it's terrible. I mean, you're fully readable and there's no real distortion. It's just a big signal.
I got you. I'll back off a little bit. Yeah. Other than that, I'm doing pretty good. But hey, K4PW, I'll not try to be too long-winded and go back to that, buddy. This is N8 NHT.
Very good. That's Hayes in Hendersonville, November 8th, November Hotel Tango. Kevin, what are you doing, man? You were supposed to check in when East came up. What's wrong?
Oh, I thought I'd wait to the end there, wait for the flat earthers and all the rest of those. Those people. But for the most part, not a lot going on. Just done a little bit of yard work today, and made the yard look pretty. And didn't do too much more than that. Just hung out around the house and watched a little bit of tube. Well, that's what they boot tube, but I guess that's not the case anymore. Just watching a little TV there. Oh man, I will tell you what, that weed eater got me, Paul. He got me good today.
Yeah, the weed eater gets me too. It gets my back.
Man, got me on the back too.
That's how you know you're getting old, man.
I think that's what it is. I think that's exactly what it is. All right, well, there ain't too much going on over here. Same old stuff, different day.
Very good. It's Groundhog Day every day. When you're home a lot, it feels like every day is, well, not everybody's all the days the same. It's just just feels that way sometimes. That was Kevin, Kilo Golf 4 Mike India Zulu, and he is over by Cumberland University in Lebanon. Anybody else see what now he's going to skip the lizard people and you know, flat earthers and moon landing deniers and that kind of stuff. Anybody else out there?
Kilo Oscar 4 Foxtrot Victor uniform.
Oh gosh, who is this? Tell me again. I keep my memory's getting worse as I get older.
It's Corey.
Oh, Corey, I'm sorry. You think I remember that since I'm the one who proctored your license a few years ago. How you doing?
I'm good. I am sitting here watching my 3D printer do its first print. I bought one yesterday, so I got some radio stuff to make. So I'm playing with that.
Oh, a 3D printer. That's awesome. Was it very much money?
No, I found it on Facebook Marketplace, pretty cheap. It's $150. It's a Creality Ender 3 version 3. I think it's the new one.
Cool. Not nice to play with something like that, huh?
Yeah, just being able to have versatility to make some little pieces here and there and not have to spend no money or wait.
Where do you get most of your designs? Can you do it yourself?
That's what I'm learning through a few of these CAD programs, but most people just put the files, the STLs online, and they're all free, and you can take those and download them to a CAD file and just kind of tweak them to how you want them. But most of the foundational work is there for what you want.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good. I hadn't thought about. I've never used one like that. I've had some experience with CAD, but not for that kind of stuff. And I've seen some of that. What they call, and I forgot the term for it now. It's anyway. I've seen it in industrial stuff years ago, where they had the computers hooked up right to like a CAD computer directly connected to MachineWorks, and they could make anything. You put the thing in the machine, it would drill all the holes and make all the cuts, and it would come out looking like a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's been interesting. CAD is definitely a beast in itself.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's unbelievable. If you can imagine, since I know about how old you are, in the 80s when they first started coming out with CAD, and all drawings before CAD were blueprints that were handmade, and they started publishing blueprints with CAD, and they looked kind of clunky, I'll say. And they didn't. And what CAD lacked was almost the artistry you saw when people who are actually people who did drawings. There was a little bit of art involved in how they did their printing and how they did their how they made all the drawings, which is gone once you get CAD. There's nothing. It's all just straight lines and the straight print and nothing else. And then what I was going to tell you though is a part of that. Then they were trying to figure out, because they were such large files when they were doing CAD drawings, because when you get in a building project, a large building, the blueprints for the building, just one copy might weigh 40 pounds worth of paper. So they were trying to figure out, and they finally did figure it out in software, how to make all those files a relatively small file so they could be transferred over the internet easily. And they figured that all out in the 80s and early 90s, and now it's just everybody does it.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is, most of that stuff is really just over my head.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Exactly. Well, it's all the stuff behind the curtain is all that software stuff behind the drawings, and all you can do is, I don't know how they're doing their CAD now. I mean, what you're doing, is it like little object-oriented stuff? You just move stuff around on the drawing?
Yeah. So my experience so far is loaded up part and using shapes, twisting shapes and lines to match what you want. It's odd. It's like kind of playing Tetris. I don't know. This is just super basic. And I know YouTube goes further in depth, but I learned just as much as I need to know so I don't get really too lost in the weeds.
Oh, I know. I learned some years ago that I'll never be a programmer, don't want to be a programmer, and I'm going to let other people do programming.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared about, because this little cyber deck I'm making involves some programming with the Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. So this is a whole new take.
Well, good luck. Don't burn up your brain doing it.
I don't know. It can happen pretty quick, but thank you.
No, it's tough. It's tough because even I had computer programming class in college in 1974, 75, and it was hard since I'd never done anything like that before, and it was still, it was computer programming, but in a computer programming language. I think it might still be around. It was called BASIC, BASIC, and I don't think it's the same thing as, I don't know what it's the same thing as, but I just remember thinking, ain't no way I'm going to do this for a living.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't think I would even want to get that deep into it. I remember my computer class was pretty bad. It was boring as it gets, so we just got in trouble.
Oh, I know. I'm glad there's people out there who are good at it. I really am. Anyway, anything else for the net, Kurt?
No, sir. I just want to chime in and say hey to everybody, and good hearing everybody. But you have a good night, Paul. Thank you. Kilo Oscar 4, Foxtrot, Victor Uniform, 7-3.
You know what you can do to help me out with the name recognition, because obviously I know who you are. You need to change your call to Kilo Charlie 4 ORY. That'll do it for me.
Hey, that's a good idea.
You can find it. That'd be a cool idea, I think.
Yeah, it does.
All right, very good. That was Corey, Kilo Oscar 4, Foxtrot Victor Uniform, and he lives up north towards the lake here, north of Mount Juliet, or in Mount Juliet, but I think it's north, as far north as you can get almost. Anyway, who else is any place anywhere? No more lollygaggers, lurker, or sandbaggers? Very good. We got 20 people in there tonight. A big night, so to speak. Anybody, last chance before we move over to 144.240.
Oh, K1SPD.
Ah, very good. I did this for lollygaggers, lurkers, and sandbaggers. You didn't pipe in. I was like disappointed.
I didn't hear it. I was working another station on HF.
Oh, very good. Everything going all right with you?
Just wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh, doing good. It's a beautiful day. I mean, I think it topped out at what, 71 or 72 degrees. It was really nice.
Yeah, it was real nice outside. A couple hours, 2 or 3 hours out on the deck today. Oh, hey, I'll let you move on. K1SPD.
Very good. That was Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and he is in Laverne. Anybody else quickly before we go? At 21, that's how old I am this year. 21 check-ins. It is not how old I am. That's only, I'm not even almost 4 times it. No, not quite, but 3.5 times that. All right, we'll move on to 144.240. We'll see you there. K4P then. K4PW on 144.240. Looking for check-ins from the south. Please come in. 144.240 from the south. Please come in. From the east.
KM4YRF.
All right, we got Michael, KM4YRF here in Mount Juliet. Who else is east?
KM4HD.
All right, we had 2 in there. We had Stan, Kilo Mike for Hotel Quebec Echo, and almost doubling was Earl, KE4DEZ. He's in Noreen. Good to have you in there, Earl. Kilo Echo 4 Delta Gazoo. Who else is east? South or east? Southeast or north?
K1SPD.
Ah, very good. You sound good in there, Scott. That was Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. Scott in Laverne. Who else is southeast or north?
WB0NLO.
Very good. We got Whiskey Bravo 0 November Oscar. That's Mark in northwest Mount Juliet. Who else is? It's actually northwest. The one in Salta, northwest Wilson County. Who else is north? All right, got a good copy on there, Carlin, Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. Who else north? South, east, or north? Please come down. Southeast, north, or west?
KT4ILB.
All right, a little pregnant pause there, Jack.
I was waiting for Greg.
You're going to wait a long time. He hates me. Very good. We got Jack in there. Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor. Greg, you out there?
Yeah, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. Yeah, sometimes I got to reboot my 991 when I switch modes.
Really? Now that you've obviously you've upgraded the 991 to the newer software, right? The upgraded software.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, there's an upgrade to that. I don't remember when you got it, but there's check your version and look and see what's online.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
All righty, that was Greg, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. Anybody else north, south, east, or west?
KC4TEQ.
Very good. Big signal in here tonight there, Charles. Kilo Charlie 4 Tango, November, Quebec. Who else is west? North, south, east, or west? Please come down. We're looking for the lollygaggers, lurkers, and sandbaggers, especially the one that's over there in Lebanon. Oh, no, we don't have that. Kevin didn't check in from Lebanon. Anybody in Lebanon want to check in now? Lizard people, flat earthers, etc. All right, got nothing. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 of us in there tonight. Very good. We're going to move over to 50.135 unless I hear something in a moment. K4PEW. Mark, I want you to notice that I kept it straight up north, south, east, and west where we were. Very good delineation.
Hey, you did good. You got them all in a row.
Yeah, I let my wife help me. You can't see her. She's standing off to the side. No, all right, we're moving over to 50.135 unless I hear something. All right, 50.135 it is. We'll be there as soon as I turn the dial and tune in. All right, this is K4PEW on 50.135. Looking for check-ins from the south. Please come now. Very good. We got you in there, Scott. That was Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. Who else is south? South or east?
KM4, YRF.
Very good. We got Michael, Kilo Mike 4 Yankee Romeo Foxtrot here in Mount Juliet. Who else is east? Anybody else copying east? Got nothing at the moment. Still waiting for Kevin. He wants to check in last. Who else is north?
WB0NLO.
Very good. Whiskey Bravo 0, November, Oscar. Sounds real good there, Mark. And Northwest Wilson. Who else is north? Southeast or north? Please come now. Then over to the west. Very good. We got Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. I think there was a double. That was Kevin. By the way, that was Greg in Antioch, Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo. Was that Joel heard in there? Yeah, very good. It's amazing how it is amazing how in radio you learn voices more than you learn anything. I could just hear a piece of one of the words you said. I knew it was you. Anyway, that's Kilo Oscar Far Oscar Tango Victor. He is west of Ashland City. Who else is west? Okay, we had 2 in there. Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor, Jack and Donaldson, and Kilo Charlie 4 Tango November Quebec, Charles in West Nashville. Anybody else west? Anybody else any place, anywhere? Please come now. Anybody copying any stations I can't hear? Lurkers, lollygaggers, sandbaggers, and lizard people are next. Alrighty, I think that wraps it up. We had 8 check-ins on 6 meters. We're going to move right over to 223.415. Appreciate everybody checking in and have a great night. Enjoy the weather as long as it lasts. So have a good night, everybody. K4PW. Am I on the right radio? K4PW.
And the right antenna. KB4CD.
Yeah, sometimes, it's like pinball. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't.
I think you're on the wrong microphone, though.
No, I'm on the right microphone. There's only one microphone for this radio.
Check me in.
Who is that?
It's you know who and over you know where.
Very good. I got to check myself in here, and let's just check in Greg, KD4 CVE, and then we had KM4 YRF. Who else we got in there tonight?
KG4ILB.
And KG4ILB. I think I heard somebody else. Please come now.
K1SPD.
Very good. Are you copying anybody well tonight there so far there, Scott?
I've heard a couple besides yourself. Yes, I have.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. Everybody sounds pretty clear to me so far. That was Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta on the burn. Who else is any place anywhere?
KO4 OTC.
Very good. You sound good there tonight. You're did you say, I forget now, you were using the amp on 220?
You can hear me tonight?
Oh yeah, and I can hear you fine.
Yeah, the last 3 times, I received on a discount to the scam because I can't hear you on the radio or anything. I got it set up for stuff already happened. But the last 2 times I checked in, I could not get you to hear me. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever make it, so that's great.
Well, I think conditions must be good tonight for this because I think you're right. Well, anyway, that discone, you see you can hear me on the discone?
I can hear you better on that discount than I can any other mode.
Oh, very interesting. I'm going to check and see. I must have it set for discone transmissions.
Well, I can tell you that thing, man, it's a big discount. I don't know, probably 9 feet tall. I don't know, it's everything else is all right. It does really well. And before I could hear y'all on it, before I even got the 220 radio. So that's how I figured this out.
Yeah. Did you ever see the pictures of the discones on the Old Navy ship?
No, it did not.
Okay, I want you to go to the USS Little Rock. Look up that ship and go to pictures of the Little Rock, and anywhere you can see it, and you'll see this discone on the bow of that ship that's bigger than your house.
I didn't, but I got this, but I couldn't see how big it was once I got it together. But I really like them, man. They're very great.
Oh, as big as that one is, I guess it is. You Greg, you said something, say something?
Yeah, is it a true disc cone where it's a solid disc and a solid cone?
Not the one on the ship, no. Oh, you want to talk about Greg? Are you talking about Joel's?
The one on the ship.
No, it's not. It's really, it's just the generic term discone. It's built in that same fashion, just with horizontal circle of ground plane, and then as I recall, and then it's got a huge vertical and a whole bunch of other stuff coming down. I don't remember whether they're wires or they're steel or what, but it's huge. Hey, who else in there?
Katie 4 me did get me checked in.
Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey. That would be Carlin in Bethpage, Angeltown. By the way, is anybody else in there?
KC4 TNQ.
Very good. We've got Kilo Charlie 4 Tango November Quebec. That's Charles in West Nashville. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 of us in there tonight. I tell you what, Jack was mentioning recently, last night, as a matter of fact, it's really amazing. We've gotten, this has grown ever so little bit over the last year, and it really is. I don't even know how long I've been doing this, but it's really nice that it's been picking up. It really is. It's I guess we're making good use of this airwaves. And by the way, I think I'd bet I got you guys in here. Greg and I were talking on 220 a few days ago during the day, and somebody actually jumped in there and said something without IDing. And he repeated something, but I didn't catch everything. He was just saying stuff. We were joking. I mean, him were talking about the 9-1 machine, and he said something like, "The 9-1 is king" or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but he wouldn't ID. I said, "Hey, well, who is this?" He wouldn't say. So it's the first time we had a lurker who was active on 220 that I'm aware of.
You and Jack doubled a minute ago. What was your question, Jack? I don't remember. That was moments ago.
Jack, who?
Isn't there one of those big disc cones like in Colorado, I think, where the time
signal comes from, that signal can come in and hook their HF into it.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know that. Is that true, guys?
Is out the Midwest somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but I read somewhere it's called a Collins discone.
I wonder if that's any different than a regular discone. I know well, you guys have probably seen the actual, I guess the initial discone was a disc on the top, like a top hat, and then a cone underneath it. And I'm not sure which is the preferred method.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Well, that must be pretty good, and apparently they work pretty well. I don't know why would they ever make one big enough to go around my property.
Wait, did you see the one that was on those big ships?
I imagine it was the same design, maybe just cut down smaller to fit on the ship.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. Well, it's smaller. When you see this one, I'll have to take a look here. The Little Rock, USS Little Rock. It's a guided missile. Well, it's a guided missile, or it was when I got a guided missile cruiser. Before that, it was an all-gun cruiser. USS Little Rock. Hold on.
I remember my question, Greg. It's like when you transmit on that, it has the signal polarized, horizontal or vertical. That's what I hear. It really don't matter. Like this, if it's going to flip flop anyway when it's I don't care about that. It's all HF for shortwave. 10 years ago, I used to use a discone on my scanner, but it wasn't. It was just for local scanning. These things are huge. I mean, like I can't remember when I did use it. It was like I don't know, several hundred feet tall or something. Let me look it up. KC-14. Transmit to y'all. I'm from Cracker 3. Your channel. I'm transmitting Bowbank D17R 20 newer waterproof job deal. I run it through a camp and I'm able to do it. Well, sounds good, Joel. Well, I appreciate it because I spent quite a bit of money on this little setup. It's the boat thing. I didn't spend probably $30 on it, but man, I bought this 220 antenna. It wasn't doing so hot at first, so I'm glad it's making it out now. It makes me feel better because I had about $170 in it. Like a full scale. Oh, good. Because I know if I'm looking at that discount and it is huge.
Yeah.
10, 12 miles.
Yeah, for you guys, I was just looking at that same image, and there was a few images on here for that Little Rock, and there's others you can find on other ships, but it's a very huge antenna with it's really kind of a modified discone, at least from what I can tell. It's got a top hat on it, and then it's got some cables coming down all the way around it, coming down to a kind of a ground plane, and then another set of cables coming down. I don't know if those are support cables or whether they're actually transmitting and receive cables or not.
I would almost think they would have to be.
Yeah, the Little Rock, I operated in, they had a radio station on USS Little Rock in the Naval Park in Buffalo. Did that for a couple of years. Really neat place. I mean, but the antennas are huge. We didn't have a connection to the discone, but we had one to it was probably a 43-foot vertical piece of steel. It was kind of neat.
Well, we're here to see. I guess you got the best ground plane in the world.
Yeah, we had. I ought to send an image. In a specification book I have for like the ship I was on, it showed the different, all the antennas that were on the ship, and it would crack you up to see how many antennas we had on that ship. It was, I'll bet you, just roughly, there had to be 20 or 30 different antennas on that ship.
The antenna we used was, oh wait a minute, that was so classified.
Yeah. What's interesting about what you say classified, I have the book that documents the design, construction, and operation of that ship I served on, which was decommissioned in 1979. It was built Well, it had some good stuff on it back in the 70s, before it was decommissioned. But here we are. When that book was published in the 80s, I think it was, or 90s, they still never published one single thing about the radio gear or the power or the frequency. Not one word. And it was all old technology. I mean, it wasn't like it was new stuff.
You know, looking at those old antenna designs, my favorite is the cloud burner, which is just a single wire running horizontal to the ground, and it was used behind enemy lines, and so the signal goes up and it comes down in a cone, so they were less likely to be picked up by the enemy.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I know what you're talking about.
I invented that. I thought that was ingenious.
Yeah, me and Eddie Lamar were brainstorming one day.
That's Headley.
I said that.
Yeah, it was one funny joke he had going, I think.
Frequency hopping, spread spectrum.
That's right.
Mostly that spread spectrum. She was a hottie.
But she was pretty smart too.
Anyway, now lots of antennas. But anybody else got anything for the net? Because I think we had 8 in there tonight. Did I miss anybody? Let me go backwards here. Kilo Charlie 4 Tango November Quebec, which is Charles in West Nashville. Kilo Delta 4 Victor Uniform Whiskey, and that's Carlin in Angeltown, Bethpage area. Kilo Oscar 4 Oscar Tango Victor, which is Joel in West Ashton City. Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta. That's Scott in Laverne. And Kilo Golf 4 India Lima Victor, Jack in Donaldson. Kilo, can't even read my writing anymore. Oh, KM4YRF, that's Mike in here in Mount Juliet. And then Kilo Delta 4 Charlie Victor Echo, which is Greg in Antioch, and myself, K4PW here in wherever I am, Mount Juliet. Anybody else buy the ski lift, by the way, but I got to mow the ski lift properly today. Or not tomorrow, I'll have to do it. I could go out today. I do have headlights on my mower. Anybody mowed with their headlights?
Nice.
You ever mow with your headlights? Well, very good. Everybody have a great night. I will catch you later. By the way, you can go to the buffalonavalpark.org. It's all one word, buffalonavalpark.org. And it's got right on the front page. It scrolls around through what's on the naval park. You know, in the images, they scroll, you know, just like moves around automatically. And you can see those in some of the antennas, as well as that that giant, I'm going to call it a discount. It's a giant discount, that's for sure. I think it costs more than $100. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. K4PW.
Good night, Jack. Good night, Greg. Good night, Paul. KM4. Wow.
Good night, Facebook.
Yeah, I'm out too, guys. KG4.
Have a good night.